What's up, ladies and gents? In this video, I will be going over the maps in the new event, T90 Titans League. If you didn't already hear about T90 Titans League, it is a reoccurring league within Age of Empires 2. There will be a season every 6 to 7 months for the foreseeable future, with promotion, with relegation, and, of course, with maps. If you maybe want to hear a few more details, I already have a video I'll link in the description where you can hear about kind of how everything works, and there will be more videos coming up. But what you need to know now is what maps the players are going to be playing on. Now, the idea behind the map pool is to have a varied map pool that gets the most out of high-level play, which means, sadly, for some of you Forest Nothing fans, we're not going to have that, but we have 11 maps, so let's go through them. First and foremost, we have Arabia. Shocker. Competitive AoE 2 typically incorporates Arabia in some capacity. However, this version of Arabia is very different from what you may have seen in the recent tournament King of the Desert, and more along the lines of an event I casted recently called the Resurgence. So what we've done with this version of Arabia is we've made it open, so virtually every strategy can take place. However, not too open, where it is a 2 Militia Drush, Man-at-Arm Archer game every single time, if you're aware of the meta from King of the Desert. This Arabia is very similar to what we saw in a recent tournament, and the main tweak that I made is I made hills a little bit larger away from the player bases. So if you were to cycle through generations, you're going to find that there's little hills near the player bases, but as you expand over other areas of the map, they're going to be larger hills. So think about neutral stones, neutral golds, things like that. There will be larger hills. That's pretty much it. It's a staple for Age of Empires 2. This is going to be a map that a lot of players are familiar with. Let's move on. The next map I did not actually include in my original map pool post. However, I decided to do it because many people were asking for it. And well, you know what? It's a classic. The next map is Arena. So if you like your closed maps, if you like your monks, if you like your boomy strategies, you're going to be able to compete on Arena. Again, probably don't need to explain this one too much. We didn't make any tweaks compared to some of the other versions of Arena you might see. Players start pretty far apart, they have walls, and expect a lot of booming. Map number 3 is ATACAMA. Now, we have made some tweaks to this version of ATACAMA from some other events. Normal ATACAMA never had water. And then there were some versions of ATACAMA that incorporated water, and we are doing that here as well. However, instead of there being 6 deep fish in the ponds, we made it 4 deep fish, so it's definitely something that players will want to take, but not necessarily worth it to contest at times. The main focus on ATACAMA is normally the woodlines in the middle, and I found other versions, the woodlines were maybe too small, which led to someone losing the woodline, and then the game would end. It's not like this change will maybe make ATACAMA give us 2 or 3 hour games, but the woodlines are a bit further apart in the center compared to other versions of ATACAMA, meaning that players in theory can take wood in different areas and that the game could maybe progress a little bit longer. Obviously, expect a lot of aggression on this map, and this is definitely one of the more open maps in the event. Map number 4 is Cross. You might recognize this, and you might think 4 Lakes if you play online. However, this is a little different from what you might find on the ladder, and it's very similar to the Cross we had in Hidden Cup 4 if you watch that. We've basically simplified the map and made it as balanced as possible. There are 4 ponds in each corner. In each corner, there tends to be about 6 to 8 deep fish, and then players are going to contest for the ponds. You'll notice that players do have a very open map, and oftentimes the players are not too far away from each other. So while the focus is going to be on water, players will also have to contest for land, leading to a wide variety of strats. The thing that I really like about the version we have here, and I did this similarly in some other events, is the way golds are spread out around the map. There's a lot of 2-tiled neutral golds that are spread out all around. So something that I've seen in 4 Lakes, for example, on the ladder is that the golds can be really unfair, and it's very hard with scripting to get that right. So essentially what we did was, instead of 2 3-tiled neutral golds around the map, we have 4 2-tiled golds around the map, and just a little bit more gold, a few more locations to run to if the going gets rough. The next map is Fortified Clearing. And this map is something you probably saw if you watched my cast of the Resurgence. However, we made a tweak. When you first look at Fortified Clearing, you see stone walls on the front and you think arena. However, there are no walls behind the players. It is obviously very easy for the players to add palisade walls if they wish to, but if they don't, they leave themselves exposed to some potential feudal attack. It'll be interesting because normally arena-style maps have a lot of aggression in the middle, and that's where the majority of the relics are. But it's nice, in my opinion, that you have an option to go towards the middle and also on the outer ring, with the outer ring taking a lot further to get to the enemy, but being open, and then the middle being much closer to the enemy and being closed. This also will be one of the better maps for preparation for players because this is not something that has been seen before in high-level Age of Empires 2, so I'm excited to see what players will have prepared. The next map is one of my favorites, and that is Gold Rush. Now, I've been very outspoken over the years about how I think Gold Rush is amazing. I have been on the record of saying that Gold Rush is better than Golden Pit and some of the other alternatives. The main concept of Gold Rush is that you have 7 tiles of gold at your base, then the rest of the gold is towards the middle. But what we've done with this version, very similar to what we've done in events in the past, is we've made it possible for both players to be able to take the center gold at the same time. The center gold area is very wide, and the gold tiles are spread out, so you're able to make a TC on one side, while the opponent makes a TC on the other, and then obviously have some massive battles in the middle. The next map also has a heavy focus on gold, but is situated very differently. And this map is Golden Swamp. Now, in Golden Swamp, you have plenty of gold at your base. There's plenty of stone around the map, but then there is a lot of gold in the swampy region in the middle. Since there's marsh terrain in the middle, players will be able to dock and compete for water, but also land units are able to run over the terrain, so it's an interesting one, as we could see many different strategies. It's been a long time since I've seen Golden Swamp in a tournament, and I think it can produce some excellent games, so I'm excited. Next up on the list is Houseboats, and this might be a surprise inclusion for some, but if you watch Wandering Warriors Cup, the games were just phenomenal on this map. I had to include it for the first season of TTL. I was really hesitant about including it in Wandering Warriors Cup because I wasn't sure how it would play out. But the games were fantastic. We had different civilizations being used. We had different strategies being used. And I liked how preparation could pay off and lead to some good upsets. On this map, your town center's on a tiny island, and you start with a transport ship. You do need to do a lot of work to get villagers to the outer ring. You can, of course, dock or do things on land as well. It's a nice little hybrid map. Having played it a lot, it is not easy to play, and it's probably the most complicated map to play in the pool. But what better way to shake things up than put Houseboat in here and maybe have some of the underdogs pick it? The next map was actually seen in a recent team game tournament, and it is called Jungle Swamp. When you think Jungle Swamp, you have to think openness, but also lots of hunt, as there's hunt everywhere around the map. There is also a pond in the middle, so players are able to dock and take advantage of the fish, but like all of our maps, there's not a ton of fish, and you will need to transition to land. I'm envisioning very messy play because it's worth it to go out there and take the hunt, and villagers are going to be exposed everywhere they go. This map probably brings the most question marks in terms of what it will bring for the league because I've never seen it before in a 1v1. Up next is Ravines, a map where you start with outposts, some berries, and some deer, but no boars. I think the last time I used this map was in Hidden Cup 3 about 2 or 3 years ago. This is actually originally a Definitive Edition map, and then we tweaked the version to make it better for competitive play. Initially, it had too much hunt, which would have made Mongols too strong. We added extra berries, we balanced it out a bit, and I like this map because players can be aggressive if they wish to, or if players want to play defensive and wall up, there's plenty of woodlines to wall between. As the game progresses, there is stone and gold everywhere around the map, so players could expand for more town centers and more map control. And if I recall, we've seen some really long and brutal games. My hope is that this is going to be the map that brings us paladins and elite eagle warriors and just massive raiding units, and games go on for, I don't know, like 90 minutes. After that closed map, we have yet another open map in the pool, and this is Serengeti. This might actually be the most brutal. With this map, you have to think Arabia and ATACAMA combined. There's no water. It's open. Basically, the standout on Serengeti is it's much easier to chop through your woodline, so you have to keep an eye on that. And you have 1 elephant, and then you have 8 hunt. This means it takes a little more skill, as you'll have to push in some of your hunt, and obviously you'll have to be scouting, because if the players are open, you'll take advantage of it. This might be the only map in the pool where we could see something like Man-at-Arm Tower come back to our meta. I'd be a little surprised, as that's very much out of meta right now, but if any map was going to bring that to the table, it would be Serengeti. So those are the 11 maps for T90 Titans League. The way it works is players will have a map draft, just like a lot of other events, and then there will be a civilization draft, and I will have a video where I go into this stuff in more detail. For those that are hoping to follow the league, first off, pay attention to the YouTube channel over the next week. I'll have a lot more videos coming so you can hear more information. But what I'm doing with my YouTube channel is I'm going to have the best individual games and the best individual sets on the YouTube channel, but all the other sets that I cover are going to be on my third YouTube channel. So I have T90 Official, I have T90 Official Shorts, which is the second YouTube channel. But now there's the additional channel, which I'll have in the description. If you subscribe to that, that is where all the other things are going to go. And if that's too much work for you guys, I'm going to have a playlist on the main YouTube channel called T90 Titans League, and I'll just have the videos from that other channel in there. The reasoning for this is mass uploading VODs to YouTube channels can really hurt the YouTube algorithm. And I also want people to know that when there's an individual game on my main YouTube channel, it's going to be a banger. There's so many sets in this, and this is not to say that the Titans League's not going to have great sets. It will, but it's just that every game won't be fantastic, which is why we're splitting it up. So it's more content for you, even though you will have to check out the playlist. This is going to be a little new for us. I'm going to have to work it out, but I hope that idea excites you guys. I'd love to hear your feedback on the maps. The other thing to mention is the maps will not be the same every single season. So after Season 1 concludes, we'll take feedback from the community, we'll take feedback from the players, and then we'll possibly even have polls so viewers out there can vote on which maps they'd like to join the next season. I've been working hard, Robo's been working hard, our whole team with content has been working hard to get things prepped for you guys. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys are excited. And let me know your feedback in the comments. I know it wasn't the most in-depth, but I hope you enjoyed this little overview video on the maps for TTL, and I will see you all next time.